I'm going to be reading today page 86 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's called Upon Awakening or On Awakening. And man, what a game changer this was for me whenever I read this or when somebody mentioned it. So I'm going to read one, two, three, maybe like four paragraphs, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. Because for me, waking up in the morning was just always such a miserable fucking experience. I just hated waking up in the morning, and then I hated the world in the morning. Because I was so much pain, just from like hungover or the after effects of self-medicating or staying up too late, all night long, or, it was just so miserable, so I just value waking up in the morning. I'm just so thankful waking up in the morning now. But anyway, let me get into this. Page 86, Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental facilities with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here, we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step is to be, that we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful to make no request for ourselves only. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. Okay, so I want to get into this just a little bit. The first part, upon awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, and self-seeking motives. Man, that's freaking huge, because that's all I did. Self-pity. I lived in self-pity for so fucking many years. I lived in self-pity as long as I can remember. Just hating on myself and just being miserable and being negative about every fucking damn thing. Self-pity was it part of my life. I didn't even know it probably since the age of like maybe 11 that I can remember, where I was just a real negative, because I hated my dad, that was like one reason, I was getting whippings all the time. He was an asshole, and I didn't understand discipline, he was trying to discipline me, but the old way of discipline, just like rule by freaking force and shit. And man, I had a lot of self-pity. I just hated myself, and I've seen a lot of things start going downhill around 11, 12, 13 years old. 13, I started drinking, And when I started drinking, man, self-pity became huge. Depression became huge. Dishonest. I've always been pretty damn dishonest. Self-seeking motives. I don't know so much about that. I wasn't so arrogant. I was just living in self-pity, at a young age. And man, even, towards the end of my drinking, I was just lived in self-pity. I just hated myself. I was just complaining. I mean, I was just, upset because here I was at 40 some odd years old, and I look around and everybody seems like they're doing better than me. The whole world's freaking doing better than me, in my mind. I hate my boss. My relationship sucks with my former wife, or my wife at the time. I was just looking at all the freaking fine chicks around. She wasn't the hottest thing, and so in my mind it's like, well, why didn't I think of having better than this? It didn't matter that she was like so nice or something. I was just really negative, and we go places, and I was just really a negative mind fuck and self-sucking the life out of everything. And I would just consume, and it was really hard for me. I couldn't be happy. I didn't really know what happiness was. So I can just describe it as being very dark. So in the morning, I don't usually fall into self-pity anymore because, of course, doing this for 6 years, Lord, hopefully the next moment, I won't drink and drug, but for right now I'm sober, and I've been sober for 6 years. But when I wake up in the morning, or even throughout the night, whenever I catch myself kind of getting into that, I have to remind myself that, hey man, this is what's going on. You're being negative, man. You got negative thoughts. You're complaining about everything. So I really have to work on staying out of that. When I catch myself doing that, I gotta jump into some positivity. And the thing that gets me out of self-pity is gratitude, man. Well, what do you have, Chad? Well, I got a roof over my head. I got an air conditioner. I got a cell phone. I have a bed to sleep in. I got food in the refrigerator. I have money in my bank account. I have a vehicle. I have my health. I have a daughter. I got family. I could complain about that, but I have my daughter. She's part of my life. I have a purpose in life. My purpose is to be of service. I want to be of better service. That's why I'm here. It's not about me. It's about whoever's watching this. And not many people are watching, but I'm just talking and speaking into the mic. But I do hope that this video would help somebody, and that somebody can understand. I hope that somebody sends a comment. But anyway, I'll continue on this upon awakening, and maybe read some more sentences tomorrow, and continue it. Anyway, keep coming back. It works if you work it.